Hello everyone, and welcome back to War Thunder Mobile. This game, I had a first impression quite a while back, and I wasn't massively convinced, but that was still in the early beta, and it has now completely been released, which, if you look at things like Warships Legends Mobile, that's still not out officially. I think they've done a pretty good job, to be honest. So I had another go, and today I'm going to take a very brief look at the very first feature that I was very curious about to see, submarines. Because we've had a bit of a discussion if Warships Blitz is ever going to get submarines, and I don't think it might be, but maybe Legends gets it at some point. Well, you never know, but War Thunder Mobile already has submarines today. This is the HMS Vampire. I haven't looked up what the ship really was about. This is just I just unlocked the ship. I haven't done any upgrades whatsoever. And I have literally just played one single round in the submarine just to get a little bit of an idea what's going on. So don't expect any advanced tactics or anything like that, just kind of a first impression of how have they implemented submarines and what does that look like. But before we get there, let's take a brief look around what else has changed, because there are a lot more things that you can upgrade now. I'm not sure if this arsenal was there before, but you now have a couple of slots. Like you get a slot where you can get improved engines or better heals. You've got defensive. You've got torpedoes, and you can get like additional weapons. And I'm assuming higher tiers you might get more things. So there's definitely a bit more stuff that you can actually make happen. And you obviously still have the whole upgrade point mechanic, where you unlock ship levels through experience, which give you upgrade points, which you can use to improve, your guns on the submarine, your torpedoes, and all these other kind of things. So there's a fair amount of upgrading and grinding that you can actually do. And if we're looking at the tech tree, there's a fair amount of. There are relatively few ranks. I think we've got rank 2, rank 1, rank 2. How far does this go? Let's get all the way. Can we get all the way? Rank 4, I think, is the highest. Yeah, so it goes up to rank 4. It's kind of a little bit like modern warships in that regard. But there's a decent amount of ships out there, and they obviously keep adding more as it goes. So there's not really a tech tree. It's more like a rank progression. And the higher you go, the higher the monetary and experience rewards are going. Matchmaking spread-wise, you do get rank 1 and 2 spread. So you are going to face occasionally unpleasant things like HMS Belfast or an Admiral Hipper. And you're just in a destroyer. But I think balancing is one area where the game's still going to have to do a little bit of work. But that's sort of how you work yourself up. You grind XP, you level up, which unlocks more ships. As you can see, level 5 would unlock the next 2 ships, and so on. These are the player levels. And then you grind through the ships in order to improve the ships significantly until they are fully maxed out. All right, I think we've captured the basics. So let's get right into it. What is submarine combat looking like in War Thunder Mobile? And yeah, like I said, I haven't really done any upgrades on these things. I think the only thing I've done was sticking the contact mines onto the ship. So let's get into the battle. And while the whole thing is loading, let's quickly talk about the other improvements, especially around graphics. I find I have actually managed to get high graphics settings going now. I am running an Asus ROG 3, which is a little bit dated at this point, but I definitely can't run this in 60 FPS on ultra graphics. So you see that I can have sort of multiple depth. I can be on the surface, or I can be at periscope depth. I also have an O2 meter. If I'm going under, I'm starting to consume O2. At periscope depth, I'm not. And this is sort of the depth at which point I can be relatively fast, don't take a lot of damage, but I can't use my deck gun, obviously. I can only use my torpedoes. There's a slider on the right side which allows me to dive deeper in order to avoid all kinds of things. And I can avoid torpedoes simply by diving deep, but I can't fire my own torpedoes until I'm at least at periscope depth. So a couple of enemy ships already spotted, and there is a USS Porter. Lots of destroyers. Destroyers are, I find, relatively helpless against submarines, and you'll soon see why. Submarines are they're a bit unbalanced in my opinion, but we'll see how that goes. Now I can't really have any effect on the battle yet because they are not in torpedo range, because my torpedo range isn't great, and I've now been shot at, but it's done minimal damage to my my tower. So I'm just gonna go for a quick dive, and then I'm gonna go back up again. Now you see the O2 depleting very, very quickly, but again, this is a completely unupgraded ship. So please come up again to the surface. And can I just say again that this is all very pretty for a mobile game? I'm pretty impressed at this point. And the audio design is pretty glorious as well. There are some torpedoes in the water. But once you are at periscope depth, you can start firing your torpedoes, and the torpedoes are. It looks as if they're homing. I mean, look at them arcing. But I'm not 100% certain if that's the case, or if they're just going on one particular course, and then once they're at course. I mean, look at that. I can bend the torpedoes around the bow of that friendly destroyers mostly. If they are staying on course, then they can relatively easily be avoided. But so what you're effectively doing is you're spamming torpedoes. And while you can get shot at your conning tower... Oh, enemy torpedoes coming. Oh, I didn't see this coming. So I took one torpedo. But effectively, if enemy torpedoes are incoming, you just dive. And I have activated the repair kit. It's still complaining about the flooding. So I'm not sure. It seems to be a bug. But one of the enemy team's ships has been sunk. So while we have repaired the damage as much as we can, we've taken some damage on the bow from that one torpedo. My O2 is rapidly depleting, so I do have to come back up again, and then see if I can do something with that USS Fletcher. But yes, I know, and I can't use the heal because it's a little bugged. Never mind. One is there. One is already down. So you could say, okay, your team's doing really well. You're already 2 kills ahead. Yes, but the enemy team has some submarines, and that's where it gets tricky. Now I have lost a lot of O2 on this, and because I haven't been paying attention. So generally, that's not a great idea. So there you can see some torpedoes coming in from the enemy team, which seems to be all 3 ships are somewhere on the left side. So we're gonna have to turn around. And that poor destroyer on our side is being chased by a submarine, which is obviously at periscope depth, and is going to have a devil of a time trying to dodge these torpedoes. So we're going to send our own torpedoes away. Torpedoes automatically are aligned to, even if they're not homing, are aligned to whatever course the ship is sailing on at the time. So it's like in warship splits, if you were consistently firing along the guideline. So torpedoes out, and you can spam torpedoes quite with impunity. There are enemy torpedoes incoming. Destroyer is now broadside on. And this is one problem that destroyers have. They can only launch their torpedoes broadside. So yeah, she just took all those torpedoes. I'm going to go down just so I'm not going to be run over, and because there are enemy torpedoes incoming. So they come zipping by. So for that you need to dive in order to avoid just avoid enemy torpedoes. Now the destroyer is still being hunted there, and is trying his level best to dodge these torpedoes. But you've seen how fast these submarines can spam torpedoes, right? There's just no way that you can actually make your way out of this. And I think the destroyer's about had it at this point. Is he still alive? No, he is sinking. So that submarine is, and as a destroyer with the deck guns, you can do almost nothing against enemy submarines if they are at periscope depth. And I'm trying to send torpedoes out as well, but I'm not sure if the submarine is... Yeah, he's just shotgunning the destroyer there. I'm not sure if I managed to hit anything. I don't think so. And there goes another one. So I'm desperately trying to make myself useful here. But it's now down to 2 versus 2. We've got one destroyer left, and there are, I think, the 2 submarines out there. So... yeah, there's one and there's the other, and they are just torpedo spamming as they go. So I'm trying my level best here to help, but obviously there's only so much I can do. These torpedoes should be coming behind, because as a submarine, dodging torpedoes is trivial. All you do is dive. And yeah, there goes my destroyer. Destroyers against submarines are going to be almost helpless, honestly, which is one of the criticisms I have about this mode. But that enemy K-class over there, I'm still sending torpedoes at him. The problem is he can just dive under the torpedoes, so I don't really have a way of dealing with him. Now, what I can do is dive, and what I'm going to have to do is dive, yes, because he's just been diving under, and then he's going to send his own torpedoes out. So I'm going to have to dive as well, just to dodge the incoming torpedoes. Also, there's obviously another ship out there which is just shooting torpedoes. So I figured, okay, if I can't hit him with torpedoes and he can't hit me with torpedoes, I'm certainly not going to finish him off with a deck gun, because there's two of the buggers. But what if I'm gonna dive under the thing and drop some of those sea mines and see if I can, maybe I can defeat him from below. So I'm trying to go right below him and then effectively just shove some sea mines up his backside. Now he obviously knows that he can, he has to take on some water. And there you go, skaboom. Okay, that thing's down. Unfortunately, now I'm completely out of O2, so I have to surface, which means I'm trying to dodge the torpedo spread from the enemy vampire. I'm trying to go down, but I can't at this point, and I can shoot torpedoes. I can't dodge his torpedoes, so there's no way I'm going to survive this, and unfortunately the enemy team wins the battle. But yeah, that is submarine combat in War Thunder Mobile. And honestly, I think submarines are too powerful at this point. I think something needs to be, and hopefully will be done, because right now submarines just completely obliterate destroyers. There's absolutely nothing you can do. You can get depth charges, and you see one of our destroyers has done really well against enemy destroyers, but obviously had absolutely no chance against these two submarines. And even though I managed to get one sorted, it wasn't just enough. But yeah, I'm going to feature War Thunder Mobile a little bit more now that it's actually released. It's available in the Play Store, at least in Australia. I don't know if it's the same for other countries, but we'll see what changes they make. And I've had some fun in engaging naval combat. It's very different from, say, World of Warships, but it's fun in its own right. It reminds me a little bit of Modern Warships, but with less stupid and less hacks so far. And the audio is just absolutely glorious. So well done. And I'll be trying tanks again next and see if the graphics, because that was my main criticism graphics-wise, was with the tank and the land battles. And I might need a more powerful phone at some point to play that at full graphics, because I really would love to. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.